Just because somebody's working in a certain way or paid in a certain manner, it doesn't mean they're not a good bet for lending when it comes to mortgages.
We're lending to far riskier people.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of the contractors we work with are professional, they're highly sought after. We've actually spent a lot of time making sure that the lenders treat them fairly. And so what we would always do when we speak to the contractors to start with is find out what their goals are. We don't try and put them in a box. So everybody's got different needs.
I'm Nitin Sharma, you're watching RecTalk, and I've got some more recommendations for you. My first recommendation is to start taking your marketing more seriously as a recruitment business. No better way to do that than to partner with a recruitment marketing specialist agency who know what they're doing. On this occasion, I highly recommend the Marketing Junction, led by Robert Woodford. Robert's been in the recruitment marketing game for over 30 years. There's nothing he doesn't know about how to write the best blogs for your business, how to drive inbound traffic to your website, how to engage with a wider pool of candidates, a whole range of other marketing activity that you need top of funnel to drive the revenue in the end. Revenue driving is the key focus for the Marketing Junction, and that's why they are highly recommended on this occasion. My next recommendation is RecLaw. They're the lawyers for recruiters who actually speak recruiter. If a backdoor bandit sneaks through a hire for client ghost payment, or your terms get tested, Barry and his team will bring the legal firepower to stop these villains in their tracks. So make sure you've got them on speed dial, and you'll thank yourself later. Their words, not mine. Highly recommended, details in the description. My next recommendation is for those one-person businesses, the solopreneurs in the recruitment industry. Look, we know balancing business development and candidate attraction is a pretty tough ask, especially in the current climate that we're in. And Job are out there trying to make that a little bit easier, or a lot easier actually. Job is a platform that's dedicated to the solopreneurs out there. They go out, they win the work, they win the businesses. These are qualified leads, qualified vacancies, where fees have been agreed that are attractive to the recruitment hiring teams within these businesses, but also attractive to the recruiters working on the roles. So you get to keep 80% of the agreed fee. They will do all the hard work in terms of winning the vacancy, putting the terms together, getting the brief for you. All you've got to do is show up with your candidates and put them into jobs. Get to heyjobber.com. Details are in the description below. We did a great episode with Andrew detailing a bit more about the why and how. Highly recommended. Time for my next recommendation. The UK recruitment market moves fast. Growth targets change, costs rise, and hiring locally isn't getting any cheaper. In 2025, over 30 recruitment agencies stopped overpaying for talent and started scaling smarter with Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team help these guys by outsourcing key recruitment roles out to South Africa. Agencies embed fully trained recruiters, resources, BD professionals, whatever you need for your team, directly into their teams, working UK hours, using your CRM and delivering real results. You reduce payroll costs, you cut HR and admin burden, and you gain access to a deep talent pool of experienced recruitment talent, all at a fraction of UK costs. Scale up when demand rises, stay lean when it doesn't. Makes sense, right? Details in the description. My next recommendation is Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a recruitment productivity platform that helps recruiters get more done without the admin overload. Recruiters lose over 8 hours a week updating CRMs, chasing up workflows, writing meeting notes. That's an entire day that's spent not working. With Sourcewell, recruiters can do more with fewer tools. It manages every interaction from first touch all the way through to final placement. With every email, with every note, task, conversation, it automatically tracked back into your CRM. Sourcewell offers modular tools that are built specifically for recruiter workflows, including outreach, sourcing, data validation, inbox automation, AI note-taking, phone, SMS, WhatsApp conversations, you name it. It's all designed to work seamlessly together. You can plug in individual modules into your existing tech stack, or you can run everything as an all-in-one solution and use their new CRM module. The result is less tab hopping, cleaner data, and better visibility, freeing your team to focus on relationships and revenue. Make 2026 the year you spend less time on admin and more time recruiting. They're currently running free trials on their AI note taker and inbox agent modules. Details are in the comments. And my final recommendation before we jump back in is Nodex. If you're looking for a recruitment website, if you're looking for a job board, if you're looking for a tech product to be built for your recruitment business, Nodex are the guys that I partner with. They're the ones that I recommend you partner with. Get in the comments or the description of whatever you're watching this on and get in touch with them. Welcome to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, founder of RecTools.io. Those of you who don't know, RecTools is the only whole-of-market directory of all the recruitment supply chain to help your recruitment business, your talent acquisition team, or your direct hiring business grow. So whether you're looking for a new supplier, maybe for your applicant tracking system, maybe you're trying to build a better website, maybe you're looking at new AI tools, maybe you need new payroll solutions for your business, whatever it might be, get to RecTools.io. If it's front, middle, or back office, we have it listed. A handful of those suppliers I work with very closely, and we class as RecTools recommended. Now, these are the ones that you'll hear from on the RecTalk podcast. Two of those people today are joining me for the first time on their debut episode to tell us a little bit more about who they are, what problem they solve. I'm going to throw it over to them.
Hi, I'm Billie.
And I'm Jo, and we are the founders of Contractor Financial. We formed Contractor Financial nearly 2 years ago, primarily for one reason. We just want to level the playing field for contractors when it comes to accessing financial services. We want to make sure that they're not discriminated against and they get fair access. So our huge belief is all around education to make sure they know exactly what they can do, and we're here to support them to get that.
I love that. How big of a problem is this?
Massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your background is in this space, right? So obviously for you guys, this is sort of bread and butter stuff. I think for a lot of recruitment business owners, though, they probably don't understand the implications of, having a contractor that is going through a mortgage application or looking to refinance something, or do you know what I mean, or invest in something where continuity of employment kind of matters.
Yeah.
Just explain to us kind of this sort of typical examples of issues that contractors usually face, and then how do you guys fix that?
Yeah, well, we've worked quite a lot with recruiters, and the main thing is when they get a contractor who's a bit worried about moving from a permanent role, starting a contract, especially if something's coming up like a mortgage renewal or they're looking to buy a new home. So it can be quite a blocker for a recruiter who's got a contractor with these problems. So kind of that's where we want to get in, is right at the start of when these problems start to arise, and put all of those myths to bed, really, and give those contractors the peace of mind that actually there is solutions, there is things you can do. Don't hold back your career just because of these worries and concerns. So sometimes we're having conversations 1-2 years before they're even thinking about getting on the property ladder, just so they know that there are solutions as and when they need it, because they could be making decisions based on myths and incorrect information that's out there.
I think there's a big misconception that a person has to have 2 years worth of accounts or a couple of years worth of pay slips when they're going contracting. And that, if you speak to a lot of brokers, as soon as you mention you've got a limited company, the sort of wall comes up. We need 2 years or at least 1 year to at least even consider looking at affordability for you. So we're trying to break down that barrier of the misconception to say, actually there are solutions out there for people. We work with the whole of the market. There's no one that we're tied to. There's lots of different criteria, but ultimately how we position ourselves is that we should be able to support you from day one of taking a contract. So if they are considering entering into that sort of flexible workforce field, which 9 times out of 10, the benefits outweigh the negatives if they get positioned a contractor role, because nice high day rate, flexibility, which everybody wants. Don't let the barriers come up around the financial services part, especially mortgages and sort of losing out on employee benefits, because there are things that we can do and we can have that conversation with them, make them feel a lot more comfortable, and it just unblocks it straight away, so that recruiter hasn't got that sort of stonewall from the contractor straight away, where we can, any way that we can help.
Give me a typical example of stuff that you do then. So is this just mortgages? Is there a range of different offerings? What am I, and also kind of, are you guys a brokerage then? Just kind of explain to me the setup here. So I'm a recruitment business owner. I've got a candidate who is umming and ahhing about whether or not to take this contract because they're worried about lending. They've got a mortgage that might need remortgaging at some point, and they're like, look, I don't want to be left in this situation. So I introduce them to you. What happens then? What's the process?
Yeah, so I guess just taking it back to where we kind of started when we went on this journey, is we needed to get a solution for the problem. So we've spent many, many years educating lenders to say, just because somebody's working in a certain way or paid in a certain manner, it doesn't mean they're not a good sort of bet for lending when it comes to mortgages. So
You're lending to far riskier people.
Exactly. A lot of the contractors work with a professional, they're highly sought after, potentially earning more money.
experienced.
Exactly. So we've actually spent a lot of time making sure that the lenders are going to treat them
Fairly.
And so what we would always do when we speak to the contractors to start with is find out what their goals are. We don't try and put them in a box. So everybody's got different needs. We like we say, we look at the mortgages, but it goes outside of that. So if you think you've been in a permanent role for a number of years, you might have got certain benefits through that role that now you're not going to get. So that could be things like your debt in service. What's going to happen if you're off sick? Are you going to get any pay? Where you're getting some sort of form of private medical, which a lot of people do when they're in certain roles. So just because you're contracting, why should you then miss out on all of these things? Things like your employer contributing into your pension, that's quite a big worry as well. So what we've got is all of these solutions, but not everybody needs them all at the same time.
No, right.
So we've tried to come up with a way of having free access to an initial chat, really, just to get to know people, what their goals are. And it's all about educating them about what they can do rather than kind of think they can't. So it's really trying to put them in an informed position as early as possible. And our whole objective is the tenure of the client. How long can we keep them as a contractor, because they feel like they haven't got financial worries, they've got access to mortgages, they can look at their pensions, they can look at all of the employee benefits that they may have lost at some point. So it's just trying to put them back in control, really, of their finances.
So you mentioned then about how you've spent a lot of time educating lenders. Tell me a bit more about that, because you've actively been speaking to the lending analysts, the lending kind of managers, the risk managers, and in what capacity?
Yeah. So if we go back pre-IR35 changes, a lot of the lending was around limited company accounts. And so what we needed to convince the lenders was just because somebody hasn't built up 1, 2, 3 years worth of accounts, it doesn't mean they haven't got an employment history. So we've worked with many different lenders speaking to the actual underwriters. So these are the people that are going to pick up the application and say yes or no, are we going to lend? So it was really the educational piece around, an IT contractor, for example, they might be earning £500 a day, they might have years worth of history, within that industry, but only just started. So why the lenders apply a different criteria when they come through us is we do an exercise called Know Your Client, which means that we have to look at the affordability, income, outgoing. We do all the lenders' work, really, when it comes to assessing, can this person afford the mortgage? And we're not going to recommend somebody if we don't feel that they can afford the mortgage. We've got responsibility, as a broker. So the lenders will actually apply a different set of criteria when they come through as Contractor Financial, rather than if they went direct to that lender, because we've got the relationship and they know we've got a history of how many people we've put through, example. So that was back prior to IR35 changes. Once we knew that was going to happen, we preempted it probably about 6 months before to say, right, a lot of these people are going to have to change. They're no longer going to be going through a limited company. They're going to be using payroll companies. So let's get ahead. Let's knock on the doors of all the lenders, because we know this is going to happen. We know it's going to create a confusion.
Yeah.
So we started that exercise about 6 months before the changes. So they knew that you still got the same person doing the same job. It's just they're going to be going through a payroll company and getting pay slips as opposed to bidding through their limited company.
So these conversations, I'm assuming, then were happening in previous employment rather than kind of as Contractor Financial, the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What is your guys' background then? Because I mean that those sorts of conversations with underwriters and with decision makers within the big banks and the lenders, that's no small fish kind of conversation, right? That's not a that's institutional level conversation. So tell me about your guys' background.
Yeah, so back in the day, I actually started off at Coventry Bond Society as a mortgage advisor many years ago. And then more recently, around 2010, that's when I went into supporting contractors more specifically.
Right.
So that was working with accountancy firms, people that are having these contractors facing these problems day in, day out. And that's where the frustration came in, because it was, you're all good to go. You've got your deposit, but you've got to wait 2 years just because that's how their underwriting sort of works.
Yeah, because the lending criteria won't understand
Yeah.
what your part in this is.
Yeah, exactly that. So I think in the first year we got 4 lenders that would use what's called the day rate or the hourly rate. So even the very first day of the very first contract, we had solutions that we could help. And then as our brand grew, as our reputation grew, we just then got more and more lenders on board. So a big myth is that they're going to be backstreet lenders paying higher rates, bigger fees, all of that, whereas that is not the case. We're a whole of market, aren't we? So we're not tied to any particular lender, but a lot of the times we're getting the same rate, if not better, than they weren't there directly. So it's not only the criteria that we've built up, it's also the access to the best kind of rates on the market.
And what's your background then, Billie? Where did you come into all of this?
Jo recruited me. The best recruitment she's ever made, can I say? When was that? 2015, I think? About 10, 11 years ago now.
Right, yeah.
So I was sort of fresh out of doing A-levels, didn't really sort of know what I wanted to do.
Oh, God, right. We literally took a baby and doing this one.
She nurtured me. So yeah,
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, she did nurture me. So yeah, I wasn't really sort of sure what I wanted to do. Knew I was ambitious. I always knew that I wanted to get my teeth into something. I was quite academic. I, got decent results, but I didn't really want to go down the sort of uni route and stuff like that. I just wanted to get a job and work hard and succeed in that way. So came in as administrator as sort of a team of like 4 of us then, I think it was. Quickly sort of got my teeth stuck in, got quite involved, did my exams a couple of years later once I sort of built the foundations. And I think going from an administrator to an advisor is I would say arguably the best route that you can take as an advisor, because you understand all the back work that goes into doing a mortgage application. I think administrators are massively undervalued in any business. Like the business ultimately won't run without those sort of back office people. So
that's a bold statement, isn't it?
It is. They just wouldn't.
Billie flying the flag for all the administrators out there.
For all the administrators out there, all the admin, do all the legwork, basically.
Yeah.
So I passed my exams for about 8 years ago, and then just went from there. Really built a sort of nice client bank. And then went on my own originally, and was sort of like tapping on Jo's door, like, "Come on, there's a real good opportunity here. We can do something different." I feel like we both had really similar sort of values, work ethic. And I knew, obviously learning from Jo, that she wanted to do something a bit different as well, and we sort of had that sort of very sort of similar nature. So when I did go on my own and all these sort of opportunities started coming, and I could see there was a sort of real gap in the market to do something a bit differently for the contractors, I just knew that it was the right fit to do it together. And it's more fun.
So what was the why then? Because, I get it with yourself, because you were you'd worked your way up. So there was a level of grind there, and then you're like, okay, I'm still a fee earner. It's time for me to maybe make some fees for myself rather than line the pockets of my employers. But I'm assuming you were on a good wage, comfortable job, well respected, getting FaceTime with kind of decision makers at the big banks and that kind of thing. What on earth made you go, do you know what, I'm going to just pack all of this and go and do it for myself?
Yeah, I think what me and Billie have kind of achieved is having the freedom to make our own decisions means we've got no barriers. So obviously working for corporate institutions, things like that, to make any changes, to introduce new things can take a little bit of time. Yeah. But I think we see, actually, there's a problem here. Let's go away and solve it.
Yeah, you have it all enough.
We'll have a conversation.
Solution.
And we'll just crack on. And I think there are so many potential partners out there that deal with customers like contractors that really could add value to their proposition by having the partnership. And I think we've just got ourselves out there, we've talked to people, they buy into us, they buy into, actually, why would I not partner with you when it's not going to cost us anything, and all my clients or contractors are going to get value and thank me for referring people onto you. So it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And just being able to kind of make our own decisions, like you say, be agile, and make a difference. Because I think one of the biggest challenges that we've got and the biggest frustrations is when somebody has made bad decisions already. So, for example, the contractor might have gone to the bank, been declined, gone to a broker that didn't really have the speciality, been declined. So already they've got an impact on their credit score. And then, you know, they've worked another year or so to try and get some more history, and they really didn't need to.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest frustration. If we'd have spoke to them back at the right time, they could have avoided all of that, and they've potentially lost out on life dreams, life goals, just because they didn't know.
We had £1 for every time somebody said to us, "Oh, I wish I spoke to you 2 years ago."
Yeah, this is a bread and butter situation. My first recommendation is to start taking your marketing more seriously as a recruitment business. No better way to do that than to partner with a recruitment marketing specialist agency who know what they're doing. On this occasion, I highly recommend the Marketing Junction, led by Robert Woodford. Robert's been in the recruitment marketing game for over 30 years. There's nothing he doesn't know about how to write the best blogs for your business, how to drive inbound traffic to your website, how to engage with a wider pool of candidates, a whole range of other marketing activity that you need top of funnel to drive the revenue in the end. Revenue driving is the key focus for the Marketing Junction, and that's why they are highly recommended on this occasion. My next recommendation is RecLaw. They're the lawyers for recruiters who actually speak recruiter. If a backdoor bandit sneaks through a hire for client ghost payment, or your terms get tested, Barry and his team will bring the legal firepower to stop these villains in their tracks. So make sure you've got them on speed dial, and you'll thank yourself later. Their words, not mine. Highly recommended, details in the description. My next recommendation is for those one-person businesses, the solopreneurs in the recruitment industry. Look, we know balancing business development and candidate attraction is a pretty tough ask, especially in the current climate that we're in. And Job are out there trying to make that a little bit easier, well, a lot easier actually. Job is a platform that's dedicated to the solopreneurs out there. They go out, they win the work, they win the businesses. These are qualified leads, qualified vacancies, where fees have been agreed that are attractive to the recruitment hiring teams within these businesses, but also attractive to the recruiters working on the roles. So you get to keep 80% of the agreed fee. They will do all the hard work in terms of winning the vacancy, putting the terms together, getting the brief for you. All you've got to do is show up with your candidates and put them into jobs. Get to heyjobber.com. Details are in the description below. We did a great episode with Andrew detailing a bit more about the why and how. Highly recommended. Time for my next recommendation. The UK recruitment market moves fast. Growth targets change, costs rise, and hiring locally isn't getting any cheaper. In 2025, over 30 recruitment agencies stopped overpaying for talent and started scaling smarter with Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team help these guys by outsourcing key recruitment roles out to South Africa. Agencies embed fully trained recruiters, resources, BD professionals, whatever you need for your team, directly into their teams, working UK hours, using your CRM and delivering real results. You reduce payroll costs, you cut HR and admin burden, and you gain access to a deep talent pool of experienced recruitment talent, all at a fraction of UK costs. Scale up when demand rises, stay lean when it doesn't. Makes sense, right? Details in the description. My next recommendation is Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a recruitment productivity platform that helps recruiters get more done without the admin overload. Recruiters lose over 8 hours a week updating CRMs, chasing up workflows, writing meeting notes. That's an entire day that's spent not working. With Sourcewell, recruiters can do more with fewer tools. It manages every interaction from first touch all the way through to final placement. With every email, with every note, task, conversation, it automatically tracked back into your CRM. Sourcewell offers modular tools that are built specifically for recruiter workflows, including outreach, sourcing, data validation, inbox automation, AI note-taking, phone, SMS, WhatsApp conversations, you name it. It's all designed to work seamlessly together. You can plug in individual modules into your existing tech stack, or you can run everything as an all-in-one solution and use their new CRM module. The result is less tab hopping, cleaner data, and better visibility, freeing your team to focus on relationships and revenue. Make 2026 the year you spend less time on admin and more time recruiting. They're currently running free trials on their AI note taker and inbox agent modules. Details are in the comments. And my final recommendation before we jump back in is Nodex. If you're looking for a recruitment website, if you're looking for a job board, if you're looking for a tech product to be built for your recruitment business, Nodex are the guys that I partner with. They're the ones that I recommend you partner with. Get in the comments or the description of whatever you're watching this on and get in touch with them. And do you guys, you don't charge agencies to partner with you, do you? It's not, they don't have to commit to anything with you short of just telling their contractors and actually using the service from the perspective of, okay, actually, we've got, you know, a bunch of contractors that we should really be introducing you to because none of them know about this either.
Yeah, exactly that. The only thing we ask for agencies is they're compliant, because we need to make sure they are making sure they're doing the right deductions in the right way. It's the minor thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, the amount of contractors that have come to us directly and they have used sort of a mini umbrella or something like that, and we look at their payslip and we think, how on earth does that make sense?
Doesn't correlate, especially when you're looking to apply for a mortgage. You might be on £500 a day, but if your taxable pay is like 12 grand a year, not really resonating.
We'd be committing mortgage fraud if we sort of went ahead. So we just want to partner with people that want to do the right thing by their clients. And we can make it super easy as well. So with the client's authority, we can go direct to them to get what information we need to support the application. Clients love that, because, you know, they just want to get and do their job, not have to worry about everything. Everything we can do to make that a little bit easier for them, a little bit less time consuming.
That's your point.
Time is money for people, especially.
Yeah, especially at that level.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if they need to take half a day out to go sort their pay slips out, go see a mortgage advisor, go, you know, do what they need to do, it could cost them 250
Well, exactly,
quid,
if you're on 500 quid a day,
Yeah.
you soon mount up,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What, how much of an impact did things like the movement to fixed term contracts have on what you guys do? Because again, fixed term contracts, it's hard to get a mortgage on someone who's on an FTC, right?
Not really.
No?
No.
There you go. Live Weston. Right.
Yeah, no. We work with many different high street lenders now, where they'll work on a fixed term contract basis. In fact, if they've got a fixed term contract and not an open-ended contract, it makes it a little bit easier. Bizarrely, if there's an end date on a contract, a lender's more favourable to lend to them.
Well, I suppose, because it's harder to get rid of somebody within that contract because it's a fixed term contract rather than a contractor or an interim. It can be given a week's notice, 2 weeks' notice, and go.
But then anybody could be made redundant at any time. So this is always our argument. Why should
these are the conversations that you've then had with these lenders, right?
Exactly, that's our challenge. Yeah. And why did somebody need to prove that they've been self-employed for 2 years when they've got one streamlined income? So if they've got one end hire, they're on a set day rate or a set hourly rate. The hours and days might fluctuate week per week, but who doesn't? Most people have sick pay on pay slips and stuff like that anyway. But if they've got that history of being paid, why should it differ in terms of the lending and responsibility? So we've worked really hard, and you know, they're pretty comfortable with that now.
I suppose one could argue though as well that if you're saying as a lender, if you're saying no, we need them to have 2 years worth of contracting history, like, well, from an employment rights perspective, well then they're actually at that point more likely to be let out of their contract or let go because of the fact that they then all of a sudden are entitled to, you know, the same employment rights as a permanent employee. So that kind of sounds a bit counterintuitive as well, doesn't it, in that sense?
Yeah, I think from when IR35 come in, and since that, we see a lot of people chopping and changing inside outside roles as well. So you're rarely going to find somebody that's got a 2-year purely limited company a set of accounts now, which is reflective of what their true earnings have been. So the fact that we can go off the contract and not the way they're paid is massive for us. The whole IR35 piece was really difficult to navigate when that came in, because payslips can look all different depending on the software the umbrella company's using or the recruiter's using. They can all portray different sort of payments. Some of them have basic pay, they obviously have employers NI, holiday pay, all sort of different deductions on them. So that was the biggest education piece I feel that we had to do with the lenders when that came into play. And still, since we still get the odd couple of questions, but we have the tools and the knowledge to challenge the underwriters back. Whereas if that underwriter went to a lender to a broker directly and says, well, why have they got so much commission, or why have they got so much holiday pay on the payslip? If they don't know the answer to that, that's where it falls down. And you know, there'll be a max loan, and it just won't be a very good outcome for the client. Where I've had many of conversations with underwriters where I've challenged them and said, no, if you go and look at this, if you go and look online, if you go and look at your criteria, you'll find this piece of information, and they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine, we can agree it. So it's the amount of cases these underwriters get from a mortgage perspective, which are contractors, is very, very small. And same for brokers.
So not every underwriter. There's a good chance that they haven't seen one of these applications in many, many years, and therefore, their knowledge hasn't increased in that time.
No, or they're new.
And they're just going to go, no, actually, computer says no because I don't understand
it. Doesn't fit in this.
Everybody likes to do things the easy way, right?
Yeah, of course.
Fair. So you've only been doing this for 2 years as the business that you guys have set up, right?
Yeah.
How's that been?
Fun. Yeah, I'd say fun. Yeah, that was the
fun
first
is
word.
a great way to put it. Yeah. Not everyone describes running their business, certainly the first 2 years, as fun.
Yeah. I think it's the feedback. Like if you look at the Trustpilot reviews, like it's hard to get a review to say I got paid on time. People don't necessarily leave a review just for somebody doing their job. But when you're getting reviews to say you've changed my life, I bought my dream house, you made it super easy, that's what makes you know
you want the right path.
And you know, and that's why we just wanted to try and get out to as many people as we can. Like I said, we don't want people to make these mistakes and feel like they can't achieve what they want. It's look, there is a solution. And the amount of times we get, well, I've been to clients, I can't get a mortgage. Well, we can. You sure? I don't think you can. No, we can. It's kind of.
But and then that sort of it puts you on the back foot, right? Almost, because you're kind of like, well, now this person's going to think that we're going to do something a bit dodgy or something a bit underhand. You know what I mean? And it's like, no. You've just been historically given the wrong information, and now we're going to have to go back and correct all of that information in your mind first before we even go out.
Yeah, and it might not be the you know, they've seen a broker before. They might not have purposely given the wrong information. It's just that it's not what they do. It's not their daily bread and butter. Whereas everything we've designed, our processes, our propositions, is all around the contractors, because 99.9% of what we do is dealing with freelancers, contractors, self-employed. So every time we think about, oh, this would be a good service, it's with them at the heart of everything we kind of do.
Every person I think we speak to as well, which come to us after they've been told no or, you know, had them challenges, they're the biggest advocates for us, because they're the people then that have then got the confidence to say, you know, I went to X amount of different brokers or lenders directly, couldn't get anything, and then these guys did it with ease. So they do, even though they have that sort of impression sometimes when they first talk to us, once we've sort of got them in and we get the results for them, that they are the biggest advocates. They refer us to people, you know, they've got colleagues.
That's the thing about contractors, they hang around with other contractors,
exactly.
Right?
They're so well connected, like their networks are massive. Like we always say when we talk to like marketing, you know, representatives and stuff like that, they're all using like Facebook, Instagram and stuff like that. I'm not going to know, because our biggest audience is probably actually LinkedIn. Yeah. Because every contractor has their LinkedIn updated. They're always looking for the next role. You know, we do a lot of project managers, a lot of engineering, a lot of IT, a lot of construction. A lot of the time, they're working themselves out of a job. So they have to always be thinking of what's next for them. We do a lot on LinkedIn. But going back to what you said about being fun, it has been a graft as well. Like, you know, it's not easy getting a business up and running.
Joe's like, it's been all right for me. That's why
I went into business with you.
I
had a baby in the middle. So, you know, it's had its challenges, but we've had a laugh as well along the way. And I think that's, you know, we genuinely
tell me about some of these challenges, because again, looking from the outside looking in, you obviously know what you're doing, but you're operating in a very male dominated industry. You're two, you know, young women who are not London based and are, you know, do you know what I mean? And you haven't got an investor sat in the background that's like, oh yeah, I hired you when you were 18, I'm going to put some money behind you and, you know, you're going to make me rich. So tell me about some of these challenges, because it must be difficult in this industry, because finance is male dominated and London centric, and you guys are completely the opposite in that, right?
I think one key challenge is, if you think, a lot of people are working quite solo.
Mm-hmm.
So recruiters have got their end goal, placing people into placements.
Yeah.
Payroll companies pay people, accountants do people's books. That's great. They're all sort of key in their area. What we're trying to break down is, actually, we're not in competition with you. We want to complement what you do. So to distract somebody away from their key goal and their day job to do something a little bit different is quite a challenge. But then as soon as they see the benefit, they get the feedback from the customers. Do you know what? Thank you for referring me to these guys. They then are offering something a little bit different, a little bit of a value.
It becomes a great value add for their clients, right?
Yeah. So I think breaking that down, but also what me and Billie were very, very clear about when we start, we go into business to make money, but our goals, our ethos, everything isn't all around just making money. So an example of this is, we've got a lot of high net worth clients, high-end contractors. We're not going to just pick them to work with because potentially they can earn us more money. We help everybody because we think everybody deserves fair access. So we do a lot of CIS workers who potentially might be on a slightly lower hourly rate. Anybody, they're all facing the same kind of challenge. It's all the same kind of problem. And
you're right. It's easier to go to the ones that are on £1,000 a day because you're like, well, actually, this would be an easy conversation to have, rather than a £300 a day bricklayer. The £300 bricklayer also wants to buy a flat, buy a house,
and sometimes it's less accessible to go and pay for.
And actually, probably more important to them is things like the critical illness cover or the sick pay and income protection. That sort of stuff is probably more important. And you're absolutely right. It would seem it would be obtuse to go, well, no, let's just go after the high earners.
White collar instead of the blue collar workers.
Because if you think everybody in life's got similar goals, people need somewhere to live, people have got families that need protecting, people need income to make ends meet. So it doesn't really matter how much you're paid. All of these things are really important. So that's kind of what we really kind of prided ourselves on. We didn't want to build certain models that discriminated against, because that's our key thing. We want to stop contractors getting this discrimination. So everything that we've built is to try and make it easily accessible. So
how many contractors have you guys helped in 2 years?
Wow, that's a question.
Wow.
Come on, guys, you should know these figures, right? Yeah. 1,823. Next question.
Define as helped, because we offer so many services where they might not necessarily take a product, but we will have helped them. We'll do a review for them. We'll make them feel more secure about being a contractor. We'll talk to them about all these services and benefits. They might not need them right now, but they'll come,
I love that answer. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because actually, I would have... the question come from a point of, right, how many clients have you got, or how many customers have you sold to effectively, right? But actually, that shows the kind of the values of your business, because you're like, well, what do you mean by helped? Because that even a 15-minute conversation with somebody who wasn't going to take a contracting job, who now has taken it but didn't buy anything from us or didn't use our services, that's still somebody that's helped. In fact, probably more so in some ways, right?
Yeah, I did. Well, on the way here, I had the phone rang, didn't it? And it was from a contractor. I had a review from you 9 months ago. You mentioned that you could help me when I want to get a mortgage. I'm ready. Yeah. So taking that time of an hour out of our time 9 months ago, that they remember you and they come back. So we were having conversations. Well, 6 or 7 contractors a day, through having these reviews. So again, we're just growing our reach. And that's why we feel like offering this as a free service. We're not discriminating, because you go and see an IFA, you could be paying up to £1,000 just for initial consultations, things like that. Yeah. So just to have someone to have a chat to, just to sort of ask you questions and get them answered, and not have to kind of fork out a lot of money in the
And contractors are the only ones that you help and support and work with.
No.
I was going to say, no, I was going to say, yeah.
That's our niche.
You're obviously connected, right?
That's where we can be different. We differentiate ourselves, but we've all got lots of friends, lots of family. We've got a lot of estate agencies in Coventry.
I should have thought about you. I should have thought about you guys. We need to talk when the cameras go off, because I need a mortgage for an SPV.
Okay, and that's my bag.
Right, is it? Perfect. Yeah. Right, so you can answer this, and there's going to be plenty of people listening to this that are going to be like, right, let's listen to this. So I got introduced to a mortgage broker, and I went, right, found a property, bigger than the shoebox. I want to buy it, and this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, cool. Send me your accounts. No. I'm not buying it through RecTalk, RecTools.
No.
I want
Brand
to
new
set it up as an
business.
SPV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And I was like, and so I'll be, SPV, purchase it, and then RecTools will rent from the space.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Send me the RecTools accounts. And I was like, well, they're due now, so I'm waiting for the accountant to do the draft accounts, blah blah blah. But why do you need them? Well, I need to know the accounts of the business that's going to be renting the space. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
What are you talking about? And then immediately I'm like, and then he says, oh yeah, fill out this email. So he sends me this email, and it's property value, yeah, deposit, yeah. And then it's like rental amount, tenancy, other buy-to-let properties. And I was just like, you're a buy-to-let person. That's what you are. You're I'm a landlord, property portfolio, blah, blah. That's what you are. Copy and paste, just keep bashing these out.
Yeah.
I explicitly need somebody who knows how to get me a mortgage with this SPV.
Yeah.
So we need to talk.
That's fine. That's what we do. There should be no reason why they'd need RecTalk accounts. I mean, they'd still look at you personally from a credit score perspective and an identity perspective and a minimum income.
Is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I'm a homeowner with
fine.
like a small amount left on the mortgage. Yeah. I've got a buy-to-let property. We've got a holiday-let property. Do you know what I mean? So from a risk perspective, like I've been in this, like in and out of this stuff long enough, right? To know to look at this from a broker and go, what the are you asking me this for? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that can be incredibly off-putting because you like immediately go, all right.
Why do they need?
Do you even know what you're asking or what you're looking for? Yeah.
Yeah. No, we do a lot of limited company buy-to-lets because obviously a lot of individuals that we help have got limited companies already, might have a bit of retained profit in there, they might be looking to invest it, so pension or SPV is sort of the route that they go down. So we've got quite a large portfolio of clients now.
Do you have any recruitment business owners that come to you?
We've got a few, yeah.
I was going to say there's some really interesting ones out there. I know a few that are kind of like are working on kind of financial freedom at the moment and that kind of thing, that being their focus. So again, that's all the more reason for people listening to this to get in touch with you guys, because it's like, look, start with your own stuff and then kind of understand a bit more about educating your customers.
Benefits that we add to the recruiters. The first is obviously we've got the clients. So any of these barriers that I was talking about before, any nervousness, we can crush that. We can have a free chat with their candidate as soon as they want us to, make that candidate feel secure. They carry on, they can get the placement, and at some point they will come back to us for a mortgage. Everyone's happy. But then what we want to do is we want that recruiter and all the consultants within that recruitment agency to buy into us, buy into what we do. And the best way to do that is help them with their own employee benefits and their own mortgages. So we do a lot of recruiter mortgages because a lot of the time it could be highly commission based, low salary.
Yeah, low basic.
So again, could fluctuate. So they might move around a lot, whatever. So I think because we provide a solution, a great service for them, they will then feel more comfortable and more confident recommending us. Because you always feel like your reputation's on the line when you recommend another company.
Of course you do, yeah. You're only ever going to refer people that you like and trust, right?
Yeah, and it took us a long time to be comfortable with the solicitors that we felt comfortable recommending our clients to, because something goes wrong, it's normally going to be the solicitor stage, it goes wrong, it falls back on us because we recommended them. So I think you have to be 100% confident that your client is going to get the service. And again, that's what we try and do by partnering with the recruitment agencies, speaking to them. A kind of thing that we do is we'll go and do a day surgery. So we'll go and sit in your office for a day. Anybody can come and have a chat with us around not just mortgages, if they want to look at like their death in service, critical illness, private medical cover, pensions, all of those kind of things.
You should do that at the recruitment agency expo,
We've been a couple of times.
No, you should do the clinic.
To actually do the clinic.
I can hook that up.
Okay.
It's probably too late for the London one. Maybe not.
London was quite quiet last year, wasn't it? The Excel.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. A lot more people were happier with the London one though than the Birmingham one. But Birmingham was a bit hit and miss for some. So I don't know what's going to happen with Brom. But
Birmingham was quite quiet. We went to was it this year? We went to Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham was quite quiet compared to the previous.
Yeah. It seemed to have scaled down. Like because I was kind of on stage both days, so you get access to kind of the back area and stuff, and it arguably the stuff that you couldn't see in that hall was bigger than the stuff that do you know what I mean? Like they really pulled it in,
Narrowed it down.
which is a bit worrying, but yeah, watch this space. But that'd be really good. So one of our other recommended clients, RecLaw, Barry Cullen and his law firm, they do a legal clinic at the expo now, where they've been given a little space and they literally spend half a day, and recruiters can come with their terms, they can come with any issues and just get some free legal advice on an issue or on, so their terms or their process or whatever.
Yeah.
And if it's worth them continuing the conversation, they would do. So that might be worth doing. I can put you in touch with Louise, who runs the expo.
Yeah.
But you guys tell us, is that something that you would want? Would you go to the recruitment agency expo? Number one. And if you would go to the recruitment agency expo, would you benefit, or do you feel you would benefit from having access to these guys for employee benefits, for understanding a bit more about contractor financials and contractor mortgages, but also then your own stuff
Your
as well,
own
right?
stuff, yeah. Whenever we've done them clinics before in like businesses or ever, they've always been really successful, because you get people that, they might not be planning on buying somewhere for a couple of years, but they want to talk to us about lifetime ISAs or
Just want to
where
understand
to put their money.
Because financial literacy is really low in this country.
It's really difficult.
Like, I didn't realise how financially illiterate I was until I started working at Coventry Building Society. And then you start kind of being like, oh, okay. And I'd pick up on a few bits and I'd go back and I'd listen to some of my friends talking, and I'd be like, that's ridiculous. Do you genuinely think that? People would take out like New Look accounts and blast a load of money on them. And it's the same sort of happening again, right? And then they go, well, they shouldn't have given me that money. They didn't give you that money. Like, what are you talking about? That's not how this works. On credit cards, and I heard somewhere that you could write off your credit card, and I'm like, you heard wrong. Like, what are you talking about? And then as you then continue going sort of through your financial literacy journey, you realise how illiterate some people are. Like, I used to have like family members asking me about second job tax. I'd be like, what are you talking about? I can't get a second job, can I? Because then I'll be taxed to loads. And I'm like, there is no such thing as second job tax. Where have you got this from?
BR tax code.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? Right?
Normal tax.
But you worry it makes me worry about the sort of the lack of financial literacy.
That's
so this is where actually
the education,
things like your clinics and stuff make a lot of sense to do.
Yeah,
it'd be really good to get some feedback actually from any recruitment firms out there of the different things that they think their clients would benefit from.
Yeah.
Whether it's just sort of literature out there, doing things like clinics. It'd be good to get the feedback, because our goal is the same as everyone's, is the educational piece and to increase the tenure. And when you said before around it, do we only help contractors? It's our speciality, but we could basically help anybody.
Yeah, you're qualified financial advisors.
Yeah,
that.
We're the same as any other broker,
Yeah.
but we do specialise. We've got that niche on top of a normal broker. So, we can help permanent employees, anyone PAYE, self-employed, and anybody basically.
Yeah, any form of employment agreement, contract, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about 0-hour contracts. Can you help people on 0-hour contracts?
Yeah, we can. Usually with 0 hour, because there's no contract in place. So we see this a lot in care sector, a lot with nursing, any sort of care homes, even hospitals, agency staff, things like that.
Billable hours based work.
Because you don't know where you're going to be from one week to another, from one shift to another sometimes.
Supply teachers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So we do need a little bit more of a history. So we need 12 weeks worth of pay slips. That's it.
It's still significantly less than 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah. So it depends on the lender. So if you've got somebody a little bit like Santander, for example, not the most contractor friendly lender. Like, I've sat in a room with them so many times. It's not boo. Yeah, I know. Come on. It's not really in their appetite to take it on at the moment, because they've got different parts of their criteria which they are particularly good for, and they're just not really sort of that interested. So when you're looking at something like that, they would need 2 years history still. But with ourselves, as alternative to high street lenders, which we would contact, we would utilise the criteria.
And again, if it's a case that Santander required 2 years and this other lender, non-high street lender, required 12 weeks, you go for a 2-year fixed rate. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest,
there's ways to
high street. The only reason why we go off non-high street now for any sort of contractor is adverse credit. So if they've personally had any sort of defaults, CCJs, things like that. So again, people think, oh God, I'm not going to be able to get a mortgage, so default.
Absolutely.
On my
Again,
account.
that's another
Not the
financial
case.
literacy conversation, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because people
Yeah.
do think that, oh, I've taken out a.
Yeah.
Do some myth busting for me, because
Okay.
this is stuff that I've seen my staff do, and I used to say this to them all the time. Klarna, does
Oh.
that impact your ability to lend for a mortgage?
Doesn't impact your affordability, but it will impact
Your
your
ability to
credit.
lend,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
it
say,
will
right.
impact your credit score.
Okay.
So we have seen it in the past where somebody's taken out 20 Klarna accounts in the last 12 months. I mean, it's so easy to do. It's ASOS.
They encourage it, right? They
Flick of a
encourage
button,
it, yeah.
and then you're not got to wait for returns and stuff like that. I get it. You know, it's cash flow for people. It's the easy option. They don't know if they're going to. I mean, I'm a booker for it. I'm like in between two sizes. I'll order 2 dresses and send one back. Like, it's typical. But every time you apply for a Klarna account, they do a credit score.
Yeah.
On you, and that is what affects.
And it's a hard check as well, isn't it? So that does knock your credit.
Yeah.
Okay. Betfair account or Sky Bet account or some sort of betting account, right? Even if it's just a £10 weekly accumulator on the football.
Betting's a bit of a difficult one. Again, it's the lender. I think as long as it's within reason, and this is how they all sort of caveat, as long as it's within reason. If you're earning £5,000 a month and you're spending 20 quid a month on betting, they're not going to be too concerned. If you're earning £5,000 a month and you're spending £5,000 a month, that's where there's going to be an issue. So it's within reason. I would just say everybody's got to be a bit mindful when they're applying for a mortgage or when they're, you know, looking at mortgage conduct and things like that about betting accounts and stuff. But I think if you think there's an issue, there's probably an issue.
Yeah. If you're having to ask the question.
Yeah. That is not. If somebody says, "Well, I've got a bit of betting," and I'm like, "Well, what is a bit of betting?" They're like, "Oh, just a bit
That's
here
not
and there."
much.
And
It's
I'm like,
less
well,
than
the
it used
fact
to
that
be.
you're flagging it.
Yeah.
Or I do win sometimes.
Yeah.
In fact, well, I'm putting it on for my mates. I'm like, "Oh, that's
What about
really
things like
that.
cash withdrawals?
No, cash withdrawals
Regular
are
or
fine.
large cash withdrawals?
I mean, they're always going to close answers to lenders. So if we're doing a full mortgage application, we'll have to submit bank statements. So if we can see large cash withdrawals or large cash injections, they will normally ask about it. But again, as long as it's a plausible explanation, not really too much of an issue.
Does the type of job you do, and then what you're doing in terms of cash withdrawals, do they look at that and sometimes be like, what I'm basically skirting around is, if I'm a recruiter, and every Friday night I'm taking out 50 quid 3 times a night, and then I do it again on the Saturday, but no cash withdrawals Monday to Thursday, and I work in sales, a high pressure job. Do you know what I mean? There is an argument one could say that this looks a bit of a pattern that
like
you
a
all
lifestyle
have.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, to be honest, like anything like that. I think if it's regular sort of cash with small amounts like that, if it was like 300 quid, I think they'd probably say, well, because we have to declare expenditure. So lifestyle is one of them. So we will naturally have that conversation. We will have a little look at the bank statements anyway whenever anybody sends to something. So if anything, we would question it first. If we think there's a plausible explanation, then fine. If there's not, then obviously we wouldn't even place it with the lender, because what is the point of wasting their time, their money, our time, on placing a mortgage application, which we don't think is going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything that we've kind of built around is around us telling the story for the customer. So when we've been,
it's an integrity thing, isn't it?
It's
you
honesty.
can't. It's your own integrity, let alone like kind of of the brand and the relationship you've got with these lenders.
So if we set like a blank application in, we've half filled it out, we attach loads of bank statements, and they're going to look at that and just think it's all about how we position an application and the story behind it. And this goes around the educational piece that we started years ago. When we actually put in the application, we think about it from the underwriter perspective. Does it make sense? Can they see where they work in, how they're getting paid? We will clock if there's anything on there that probably we want to get an answer to and preempt that. So because if an underwriter picks things up, although everything's there, they love that. You know, it's probably going to get through. Whereas it's all bitty. But
it's the psychology as well, though, right? Because you are still dealing with people. It's not as though you're sending it to a computer or a machine for it to make an assessment. And as we all know, that if the minute there's a level of uncertainty, you then go through everything with a fine tooth comb. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's like, hang on a minute, you're saying this person earns £120,000 a year, but this isn't adding up to me. I now need to look into this a bit more. Immediately there's a level of distrust in that underwriter's heart and mind approaching this application. And even if it's like something that would have otherwise just got through because, okay, that doesn't quite make sense, but we can get past it. The minute there's that air of doubt, that then implicates the entire process, doesn't it? Which is important, I think, for kind of contractors, candidates, recruiters, anyone using your service to understand, the people to be honest with are you guys, right? And you can then make a fair assessment. But if I'm trying to be as sly and no, so I think don't worry about it, it'll be fine. If you've got that element of doubt, the underwriter's definitely going to have that.
But when you say around the human element, technology is also evolving when it comes to the lenders. And with hundreds of lenders out there, they all have different ways of inputting the information into the system to queue an application. So again, that's where our speciality comes in, because the contractor is probably going to be keyed very differently with one lender as it is with another. Which again is what mistake a broker could make. He's not used to doing with it kind of day in, day out. And our administrators have had to learn every single lender and how they want you to put
position
the income in, and it's all around positioning.
That makes sense.
Really difficult. Like they're all different. Halifax you keep them as employed. The lenders you keep you as self-employed. Like, they all have their sort of niches, so we can sort of build our clients into their computer says basically system. So
which is when Billie said before, when she started her role as an administrator, that's probably the hardest job when it comes to putting the whole case through and get it accepted, because we're recruiting at the moment for an administrator, but we need someone who's absolutely on the ball, and because you can't just get a normal
attention to detail is key.
You'll find one. Who knows, might even be a future business partner one day, right?
She won't find one as good as me.
You might get bored and decide to do something else, go and retrain,
I can't see it.
Might be a podcast host.
Maybe. Watch out.
Hey, you're more than welcome to free me from this life. Right, how do people get in touch with you? What's the best way of kind of engaging with you guys?
Just reach out. We've really got, obviously give us a call, contact us via LinkedIn, we've got our website. But if a recruiter wants to partner with us, what we can do is we can give them a unique URL, which is a link, so they can basically book clients in with us. If they want us to have a chat, they can give their clients the details, but it allows us to track where the referrals have come from, so we know it moves back to that recruiter. But I think from a recruiter perspective, we really just want to have some conversations, talk to, what problems do you get, what are your key kind of bugbears, do you think it'd be useful to come in? One key thing for recruitment owners is the things for themselves, not just their recruiters, but them as shareholders. Have they thought about what happens if one of them or their partner passes away? Have they got shareholder protection? It's not something you want to talk about, but it's hugely important, because I know if something happened to Billie, I would not want to be working with her mum. God, I hope she's not watching this podcast.
I would want to wear it, to be fair.
But it's things like that as business owners.
She's just scatty. I'm very disorganised.
But as a business owner, you don't.
You're right. You've got to think about these things, haven't you? Yeah, absolutely.
Business will as well. Things, so many different things.
And retaining your staff, it's very sort of cutthroat out there in recruitment, isn't it? To retain good talent, but it costs very, very little to offer your recruiters things like private medical cover, or income protection, or death in service. And, we don't charge anything to come in and advise on all of these things. If you want to find out,
it's worth getting the prices, getting an understanding of these things, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is it. And that's how you compete with some of the bigger firms, right? And attracting talent from some of the bigger businesses. If that's the way you want to go down. Yeah.
I think if you get offered a package as an employee, two of the things that you'll weigh up is, what do they offer me? What do they offer me? Obviously, biggest one, salary.
Yeah.
But salary is not too far away. It's culture and then benefits.
Yeah.
So if we can help improve the benefits that you can offer to potential employees, to current employees, to retain the staff you've got, why would you not consider it?
Yeah. I love that. I want to thank you guys so much for your time and the explanation and stuff like that. I think that's been a really useful episode. Guys, those of you who've got any questions and stuff, details on how to get in touch with Joe and Billie will be in the description of whatever you're watching this on. Head to rectals.io or to the Contractor Financial website or on their LinkedIn and get in touch with them. Just have a conversation. It's not going to cost you anything other than your time. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all the cool shit you do that allows me to do this for a job. New episodes drop every Wednesday and every Friday. We'll see you again next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Love this. Thank you very much. That was good. My first recommendation is to start taking your marketing more seriously as a recruitment business. No better way to do that than to partner with a recruitment marketing specialist agency who know what they're doing. On this occasion, I highly recommend the Marketing Junction, led by Robert Woodford. Robert's been in the recruitment marketing game for over 30 years. There's nothing he doesn't know about how to write the best blogs for your business, how to drive inbound traffic to your website, how to engage with a wider pool of candidates, a whole range of other marketing activity that you need top of funnel to drive the revenue in the end. Revenue driving is the key focus for the Marketing Junction, and that's why they are highly recommended on this occasion. My next recommendation is RecLaw. They're the lawyers for recruiters who actually speak recruiter. If a backdoor bandit sneaks through a hire, if a client ghost payment, or your terms get tested, Barry and his team will bring the legal firepower to stop these villains in their tracks. So make sure you've got them on speed dial, and you'll thank yourself later. Their words, not mine. Highly recommended. Details in the description. My next recommendation is for those one-person businesses, the solopreneurs in the recruitment industry. Look, we know balancing business development and candidate attraction is a pretty tough ask, especially in the current climate that we're in. And Job are out there trying to make that a little bit easier, or a lot easier actually. Job is a platform that's dedicated to the solopreneurs out there. They go out, they win the work, they win the businesses. These are qualified leads, qualified vacancies, where fees have been agreed that are attractive to the recruitment hiring teams within these businesses, but also attractive to the recruiters working on the roles. So you get to keep 80% of the agreed fee. They will do all the hard work in terms of winning the vacancy, putting the terms together, getting the brief for you. All you've got to do is show up with your candidates and put them into jobs. Get to heyjobber.com. Details are in the description below. We did a great episode with Andrew detailing a bit more about the why and how. Highly recommended. Time for my next recommendation. The UK recruitment market moves fast. Growth targets change, costs rise, and hiring locally isn't getting any cheaper. In 2025, over 30 recruitment agencies stopped overpaying for talent and started scaling smarter with Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team help these guys by outsourcing key recruitment roles out to South Africa. Agencies embed fully trained recruiters, resources, BD professionals, whatever you need for your team, directly into their teams, working UK hours, using your CRM, and delivering real results. You reduce payroll costs, you cut HR and admin burden, and you gain access to a deep talent pool of experienced recruitment talent, all at a fraction of UK costs. Scale up when demand rises, stay lean when it doesn't. Makes sense, right? Details in the description. My next recommendation is Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a recruitment productivity platform that helps recruiters get more done without the admin overload. Recruiters lose over 8 hours a week updating CRMs, chasing up workflows, writing meeting notes. That's an entire day that's spent not working. With Sourcewell, recruiters can do more with fewer tools. It manages every interaction from first touch all the way through to final placement. With every email, with every note, task, conversation, it automatically tracks back into your CRM. Sourcewell offers modular tools that are built specifically for recruiter workflows, including outreach, sourcing, data validation, inbox automation, AI note-taking, phone, SMS, WhatsApp conversations, you name it. It's all designed to work seamlessly together. You can plug in individual modules into your existing tech stack, or you can run everything as an all-in-one solution and use their new CRM module. The result is less tab hopping, cleaner data, and better visibility, freeing your team to focus on relationships and revenue. Make 2026 the year you spend less time on admin and more time recruiting. They're currently running free trials on their AI note taker and inbox agent modules. Details are in the comments. And my final recommendation before we jump back in is Nodex. If you're looking for a recruitment website, if you're looking for a job board, if you're looking for a tech product to be built for your recruitment business, Nodex are the guys that I partner with. They're the ones that I recommend you partner with. Get in the comments or the description of whatever you're watching this on and get in touch with them.